Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening we have one of our favorite guests on. We have Mr. Eric Harp. He is our certified professional fitness trainer and educator, and he is going to break down some current topics, and we're going to also talk about how to get the weight off and help our lower back pain. Good evening, Mr. Harp. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mr. Davis. Once again, it's always a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on. So let's get to it because it's a lot happening. So there was a pastor who was being a good neighbor and decided to water his neighbor's flowers and her grass. And a concerned citizen called the police. Mr. Hart, make it make sense. I thought we were past that. It's 2022. We still having these calls?
I wish we could all be so concerned.
Huh? Yes.
I mean, you see someone watering the grass, and that is what is going on? So from what I understand from reading the story, this particular pastor waters that particular lawn often. Mm-hmm. And the neighbor or the owners of the house who had the lawn were out of town, so I suspect. Mm-hmm. And he watered their lawn anyway. Mm-hmm. And a neighbor happened to see him watering the lawn and called the police. Mm. And when the police came to arrest this Good Samaritan pastor doing a nice deed, mm-hmm. It made the viral videos.
Yes, it did.
The neighbor, as we have come up with the term, the Karen, mm-hmm. who called the police, gives the boohoo sob story of, I didn't know it was him. So, I wish we could all be so concerned to call 911 so quickly and get that response so quickly without, I didn't know it was him. He always waters the lawn. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it just becomes one of those mistaken identities, watering while black, watering the lawn while black got him into trouble. And just so happened to be an elderly pastor and doing a good deed. And mm-hmm. the law definitely wasn't on his side that day.
It wasn't, because he had to go to the police station, I understand, and have a mugshot taken and some other things. And his wife had to come to the police station and give his ID because he was just out watering the grass and the flowers. And the police were like, oh, it's a case of mistaken identity. However, we continue to hear these stories of, I'm watering someone's grass, or I'm showing a house, or I'm over here dropping someone off, or my kids are friends with a realtor, and the realtor said, hey, you want to make some extra money? I need some help. Can you go clean this house out? It's funny to me that so many people are always concerned. Yet I see on social media these videos of women who will show their Ring video or their camera security video of some guy following them home and trying to turn the door. And people are like, who is this? What is going on? Yet I don't hear concerned people saying, hey, there's a strange man at that woman's door. He's turning her door handle. Doesn't look like he should be there. I don't hear that. But I know we'll continue to talk about that. But I want to switch gears a little bit. But go ahead. You were going to say something?
No, I was just going to say that these cameras are everywhere. The viral videos are everywhere. It's amazing what is caught on video. But then again, a video is just a snapshot. It's just a snapshot. And, a lot of times you don't know the context of what's going on. You just see the video.
Absolutely. And we're told that time and time again, whether it was Mr. Arbery, when he was jogging, about the video that we saw, and people kept saying we only had the video and that was just a part of it, but we all know exactly how that played out. Now I want to switch gears. So we're American, but in the UK, a end of an era has occurred. Queen Elizabeth who has reigned as the monarch for 70 years, has passed. And it's funny that you said, Mr. Harp, that, you know, we have video, and it's interesting what video captures. It has been said that this funeral, the days of mourning, all the different events that have been taken under for this particular event, it is interesting that historians are saying this will be the first time where you can literally take pictures and tell the story. You don't even have to have audio or writings, because so many pictures have been taken of everything from what the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were wearing, the Prince and Princess of Wales, King Charles now, which is weird to say that, who was sitting where, what they were doing. I mean, everything has literally been captured on film. Mr. Harp, what are your thoughts on the Queen's passing?
Well,
and you've been to London. You've been to London. So I have not, but you've been to London. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's a different way of life, of course. We deal with president, Congress, you know, we're free, so to speak. The thing that I find interesting is that she's been queen through not only my lifetime, but my mother's lifetime. Mm-hmm. She's been the queen through some people's grandmother's lifetime. Mm-hmm. So that's all they know is the queen. So now all you've known is Prince Charles. And so now that Prince Charles is going to become king, it's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And not just for us Americans, you know, especially myself, but it's going to be weird for the people of the UK. Mm-hmm. Because now the United Kingdom, who's been under one queen, is going to be like, now what is this guy going to do? Mm-hmm. And all the other shifting of powers, and now Harry and William become prince. And now there's, you know, people take different positions around the United Kingdom. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing stories about Kingdom saying, why should we have to be part of the United Kingdom anymore?
Yes, I'm hearing that as well. And I thought that was interesting.
You know, when you talk about America and our slavery and our reparations, well, slavery was a world business operation. Mm-hmm. And the United Kingdom, England, Great Britain, was no stranger to that business either. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So their particular territories of islands of color, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. and what have you, that they make pay into the United Kingdom as they mm-hmm. tax colonies. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, it's 2022. Things are a little different now. Mm-hmm. And but you know, the monarchy is the monarchy, and now 2022, we'll have to see what will Prince Charles, King Charles, come up with. Mm-hmm. King Charles might not live as long as the Queen did. So how are the 20th century Prince Harry and Prince William going to do? Mm-hmm. What's Prince Andrew? What, you know, how are these minds and the mechanisms working to stay in the times? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, because 70 years ago, and the way she did it for 70 years is, you know, things mm-hmm. change. Mm-hmm. Things change. And so it will be interesting over the next, once the mourning period, you know, the official mourning period, because mm-hmm. we in America don't have those. Right. We don't have those. Someone passes and we're on to the next. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We lose a dignitary, you know, we get a flash or moment of silence on television. But everything keeps moving. You know, and so we'll have to, you know, it'll be interesting to see how after the mourning period, how Great Britain starts to bounce back. It will definitely be interesting to see. And for now, the pomp and circumstance, you know, we've never gotten a chance to see much of this either. Mm-hmm. You know, the mm-hmm. way, you know, with the way that the the country comes together and does such a formal presentation. You know, I watched some of the news clippings and people waited online 16 hours.
Yes. Yes.
16 hours just to walk past her body.
And it's a draped coffin. It's you know, here in America, and I was saying this on my radio show, that when our former Mayor Coleman Young passed, he laid in state at our Museum of African American History for I think 2-3 days. And I remember you could see him, you know, he had been prepared, you could see him. And the wait, of course, was not 16 hours. I think it was like 2-3 hours, maybe the most that we actually waited. But one of the things that I said while I was there, that I was glad that I came, one, to be able to see this particular person as a real person, to pay my respects, but also to just be a part of it. And I think that's what is so amazing to Americans, is that we don't, as you said, we don't have that king or royalty. We have presidents, we have elected officials, and every 4 years we elect our leader and we have the seamless transition. However, I know, and we're going to get to that. However, you have people who, as you said, this has been someone that's been in their life since their grandmother, their mother, for 70 years. And to just have been working up until 2 days before she passed, I think it's just incredible.
70 years, I mean, just a long life of 70. He served for 70 years.
Yes, yes.
So, so that's quite an accomplishment. Definitely.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to switch gears. We're going to come back across the pond, as they say, and we're going to go to our next incredible topic. We have Republican governors who are putting migrants on buses and sending them to the vice president's house, the city of New York, and Martha's Vineyard. And I said, Martha's Vineyard. I was like, oh, Martha's Vineyard, there's a lot of money there. I'm like, ooh, I don't know how people would respond to that, but I thought it was interesting.
Stepped up. A lot of people stepped up, and listen, I want to jump on this.
Yes, please.
Okay, so here we are. We got a lot of the people in the country talking about the problem is the borders. The problem is the prejudices, bigotry, and the prejudices. And I mean, and it's on full effect, right? I mean, you and I can talk about, for days about, and we have on lots of episodes, we've talked about, does you reach a complexion that's darker than the suntan, and then, things change.
Yes.
And so out of the spirit of spite, out of spite, here comes Greg Abbott saying, I don't want these people here.
Right.
And I want you to know exactly how bad I don't want these people here. So he buses them to Democrat like Chicago. Go to Chicago. Go to
New York.
Go to New York. So now he picks Martha's Vineyard. Thinking that, how about these elites see what it's like? And so what happened is, not only did Wynn sending them out promise them jobs and accommodations, sent them to Martha's Vineyard. The people of Martha's Vineyard weren't upset that the migrants came.
Nope.
They were upset that they weren't informed that the migrants came.
Exactly.
And then they laid out as much food, help.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Impressive. Impressive. Now here we are, everybody wants to turn their nose up to the elites who they swear turn their noses up to people beneath them.
Mm-hmm.
And they came together and took care of some people who had no idea where they were.
Exactly.
And it just makes Greg Abbott, Ron DeSantis look like heartless idiots.
Yes.
Heartless idiots. You know, here, I don't want you. Get out of here. Now, again, we've talked about this. Florida deals with Puerto Ricans.
And Cubans. And Haitians.
Oh, no, you know, and listen, I don't want to leave anybody out. But they deal with, you know, the Latinos of that ilk. Whereas Texas is dealing with Hispanic. I know that there's a difference, a small difference.
It is.
There's Hispanic, and then what we call they concentrate on 5 countries coming out.
The Central American countries, yes.
There's only 5 countries that they're really, really keeping their eye on. Now you get an influx of people from Venezuela, who's not in that 5 country, but Venezuela's war-torn. And there's people who are making their way out of Venezuela through that trek, through Mexico, into the southern border, just to be put on a bus or a plane and treated like the garbage that they think that they, you know, that most people are going to think that they are, and shipped off somewhere. And then when they get to Florida, they're told they're going to be shipped off somewhere again. Got to be some trafficking crimes in here, because all of this sounds like human trafficking.
It sure does.
All of the things that we're against is human trafficking. We're placing people here and here in the name of democracy. And 2 wrongs don't make a right.
That's right.
So, you know, as disappointed as I am with our Republican governors of those 2 states, so I'm really disappointed with Congress. It's Congress. People want to say it's the president. It's not the president. It's Congress who has this ability.
Yes.
It's Congress who has this ability to call a spade a spade. So all in the meanwhile, we look horrible. We look horrible. You know, I think we look horrible to, we look horrible to me. So I think we look horrible to someone else.
Exactly.
How these people do this, claim we have a heart, you know, and midterms, I mean, not midterms are over. The elections, well, midterm elections
are coming up in November.
But 2024 is right around the corner. And when it comes down for these real leaders, and I'm just so disappointed. And which leads to the January 6th and the documents that are being seized. You know, these are just tactics to overshadow what's going on there. You know? And I think that's really why they're doing it. Let's take some of the news off of our other Republicans who are really going down. You know, because information keeps coming out and out and out and out about who talked to who and what was said and who said what to whom on this particular date.
Right.
Fake electors, and it's getting ugly.
It's getting very ugly. Very ugly. Talk about former President Trump.
Well, former President Trump is really, really, really feeling the heat, because at our last time that we spoke, the leader of his business, the main financial officer, I should say, I say leader because he controls the money, Alan Weisselberg, flipped on him.
Sure did.
And had, gave up the beans on the business. Now, his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, who gave up some text messages and phone records early, is now agreed to testify.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And just like Watergate, it's Donald Trump is not going to take the fall unless there's other people who just refuse to take the fall. But he's going to push it on to he's going to push it on to someone, and let that lawyer make a mistake. Well, it was the lawyer's fault. Let the lawyer make a mistake, it's the lawyer's fault. Let anyone else make a mistake, it's their fault.
Right.
They better stay loyal to Trump in the meanwhile.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's going down. You know, he's going down because I think that this right now the pressure is too great to not do anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know that there was a lot of people who thought there was too much pressure to do anything, but now I think it's too much pressure not to.
I agree.
This particular judge who's gotten involved, the Trump-appointed judge who's gotten involved, has agreed to a special master, has agreed to the other Trump demands, has now even posed a question to the prosecutors, to Merrick Garland, posed a question that, do you think it's wise to prosecute someone who held a position such as his?
Well,
do you
he did wrong.
Is posing a question like, well, is someone above the law?
Right.
Is he above the law?
But we say in America, you're not above the law.
And I don't think he is.
I know it is such an interesting take, and I want to go back to where we were talking about Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico just experienced a terrible hurricane, and I believe it was put at a category 1 or 2, and they were without power. Now, you know, the last time this happened, there was no help, no aid given to them. Their infrastructure was devastated. And this is an American territory. And now we have a president who is more considerate of their needs. So it'll be interesting to see what is said or what is done. But Mr. Harp, talk a little bit about, when you talk about the ilk in Florida, the ilk in Texas, talk a little bit about how Puerto Ricans may view American and how Americans view Puerto Rico.
Well, Puerto Rico at one time was a prison colony. You know, it was an island to send off some of our undesirables, especially of Latin descent. But Puerto Rico has definitely made some strides in self-governing. But they sit right in hurricane alley. And so it's a very dangerous place to be. We as Americans, we look at it a lot for our vacation spots.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful for our vacation spots. However, some of the people we don't really want to bring back. And that's unfortunate. You know, that's unfortunate. Now, there's a big with New York.
Go.
Listen, there's a whole lot of land between Puerto Rico and Mexico. So, and what the, you know, from what I'm viewing in viewpoints of America, again, people of color, Spanish speaking, but Mexico's connected to the rest of the southern hemisphere. You got a whole nother continent down there in South America. And so that encompasses a lot of countries, a lot of different cultures, and a lot of different, you know, may speak one common language, but a lot of different cultures. Okay. Whereas Puerto Rico has a culture, has a way of doing things as well. But Puerto Rico was once a prison island. And so there are some people whose viewpoints of Puerto Rico, and not just Puerto Rico, but Cuba as well. Now, if I throw Cuba in the mix, Cuba has, you know, their long history goes back to their leader, Fidel Castro, and his ties to the Communist Party. So, you know, old habits, old perceptions, they die hard. And so our history books, you know, haven't really updated what's going on right now. You know, our culture, you know, our culture is a lot more accepting, and our culture is a lot more adventurous. You know, so we would be more apt to take a trip, but we're still not wanting these people into our country.
Yeah,
you know, we're still not wanting them without valid paperwork, valid heartache.
and even with valid paperwork, let's be honest, Mr. Harp, a lot of times people will say, I still don't want them here, I don't like them. And you're like, well, what did they do to you? What? And they're like, I just don't like them. And I'm like, because they're different, they speak a different language. And we see it on social media all the time, where people will get mad at somebody because they hear them speaking Spanish and they said, this is America, we speak English. And I'm like, some people are bilingual, some are trilingual, some people speak multiple languages. And so you sound like an idiot right now telling somebody that you speak English and you couldn't even put your words together.
But how about just English? How about just English? Oh, just speak English.
Exactly.
You can't read it, you can't speak it. So.
So, Mr. Harp, one last current topic before we move on to our fitness topic. So I found this interesting. Phoenix owner, Mr. Robert Sarver, is a fan of the N-word. And he is like so many people, you know, billionaire, owns a sports team, thinks that, you know, they get to do whatever they want to. But I'm reminded a few years ago, Donald Sterling, when he owned the Clippers, was forced to sell his team. So I'm just wondering what the difference is, if there is a difference, with Mr. Robert Sarver.
We've been there, done that. You know, the element of shock and surprise is not there as much. That's one reason. Look, the Phoenix Suns notoriously have been going through this kind of thing, the Phoenix. And it seems like whoever the owners and the GMs and the coaches and whomever, the Phoenix Suns. So that sun must be getting to them guys out there. You know, you and I know that in certain arenas, the word can be used as a, hey, what's up, my friend? You know,
right.
All the way down to like, I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna cut you. But no matter what, it's never gonna be right coming from a man in that position. Okay. You look at the landscape of the team, the landscape of the NBA, though these young men are making millions of dollars, it's never a good look. It's never a good look to call any black man the N-word, especially one that's taller than you and a stomp on you in a second.
Exactly.
So, you know, but when you also talk about people of this financial bracket, courts to step. You know, public opinion is one thing, but now we take it to court. Like when Donald Sterling was forced to sell his team, that was his livelihood. You know, using the N-word amongst other millionaires, let him know that he could lose his money and lose it. And I think that the same needs to be done for this Phoenix Suns on. Now, again, Phoenix Suns have been going through this. They've already had a couple reprimands, league suspensions, and what have you from their front office and GMs. But I guess since the apple doesn't fall far from the tree within the office, that's how it goes. It's unfortunate that no matter what, no matter how much money you may think that you acquire, you're never too far from that.
Exactly.
I'm gonna break you down with it in a second. You know, and you just be an N-word with some money. And it's horrible.
It is horrible. It is horrible. So I want to switch gears, Mr. Harp, because we got to get to our fitness topic. So we are still talking about this pandemic, COVID-19. You know, we've got so many different strains. Now we have monkeypox. I say, what in the 10 plagues is monkeypox? Who even thought that was a good thing? We even have polio come. I said, can y'all just wash your hands and wear your mask? Come on. But during this time, Mr. Harp, many of us have packed on the pounds. Is there a surefire way? Because I hear lots of people doing all of these different types of diets. So now people are like, oh, I'm doing the keto diet, or oh, I'm doing this diet where I supplement with shakes and smoothies and I eat less carbs here, or I'm going strictly vegetarian. I'm not even eating fish or anything like that. Is there a quick and easy way? What should our rule of thumb be, Mr. Harp?
Well, let's get rid of the word quick and easy. Okay. We can't microwave results. Okay. We can't get to somewhere without putting in the work. Okay. Now there's many diets, there's many meal plans, there's many people that'll sell you different things. Now with that, I would really say check with your doctor, because there are some things that are in your foods or not enough in your food that you might need. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're hypoglycemic, if you're diabetic, if you're any of these, have any of these ailments or conditions, my recommendation would be to seek medical help first. And it's not necessarily medical help, just get some advice. Mm-hmm. Find out what it is that your bodies need. If you're low on iron, you might want to pick more ironclad food. Mm-hmm. You know, if you have any kind of deficiencies, you know, whatever it might be, you might want to eat more fruits. Okay, because your fruits and vegetables will have the nutrients that you need. That's what they're there for. Okay, so again, quick and easy is not the way, but we cook, we microwave, we air fryer, we do everything to make it as quick and easy as possible and miss out on a lot of nutrients. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So to answer your question, no, there is no surefire, quick and easy way to lose weight. Losing weight is a process. Okay, being healthy, it's a lifestyle. It's a change of lifestyle, and things don't happen overnight. So we have to train that biggest muscle, mm-hmm. and then we will see. We will start to see results as long as we stick with it, stick with the plan. Again, I suggest that we move as much as possible. You know, if you're able to get to a gym, swim, ride a bike, if you're able to do any of these things, move around, walk, take strides, walk the dogs, push the baby carts, do what you have to do. But get out there and move. Mm-hmm. Now, feed your body. You have to feed your body. So yes, watch your carbs, watch your protein, all of the things that you're taking in, watch your starches, but eat healthy. So a potato, some vegetables, and yes, some chicken or fish, mm-hmm. maybe some red meat. You know, that you don't have to be anti-red meat in order to lose weight. You don't have to go off vegetarian, vegan to lose weight. You know, those are one way, but your body needs many things. Your body needs many things in order to keep the machine going and keep the machine moving properly. Mm-hmm. And one of the best things is water. Hydrate. Yeah. Gotta hydrate. Wash and clean and flush all of your system. So, you know, I want to be optimistic, but I want to tell the truth that there is no surefire way. There is no gimmick that I can tell you to go and buy or to go and invest in or to do that. No, I say is move as much as possible. Okay. Mm-hmm. Eat as healthy as possible. Keep a positive attitude. Get some sleep. Mm-hmm. Things will start to balance out, even out. Mm-hmm. Now, once we want to add weights and resistance to that, that's definitely on the menu. But I don't want to put one step too far in front of the other. Okay, for all of your listeners, start to move more.
Mm-hmm.
Start to move more. Start to incorporate those fruits and some of those vegetables, and not turn it into just, oh, I'll get some juice and that'll do it.
Right.
Oh, I'll just put a little lettuce on my burger and that'll do it. No, if we want to take the step, we need to take that full step.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, make a salad, but how about some of those mixed vegetables that go along with your meal?
Mm-hmm.
How about some of that asparagus or some corn or some green peas?
Mm-hmm.
All of these things work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, add those into your meal and you'll be amazed at, you know, how your body starts to receive it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How about that banana or that orange or that apple? Okay. Listen, some things we can put into a smoothie.
Mm-hmm.
A banana works great in a smoothie. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But how about peel that orange and just eat the orange?
Exactly.
You can cut the apple into bite-sized pieces so you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to do it and worry about our teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Cut it into small pieces so we can eat it throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, again, they're here for our health. You know, fruits and vegetables come out of the ground from the trees, but they're for our health.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're doing a big disservice by not taking advantage of it. And so I do hear this. How do I lose weight? How do I do it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One, you know, and not to be rude at all, but eat better.
Yes.
And move.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can't eat your way out of a bad diet. It really starts very healthy. You have to eat well in order to be able to fuel your body. It's like a car. If you're driving an expensive car, are you going to put cheap gas in it? You shouldn't.
You better not. Go to that.
If I'm driving an Aston Martin, you know, I need to go full premium. So we need to look at our bodies as premium machines and act accordingly. Go ahead, Mr. Harp. You were going to say something.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you. That's exactly right. I'm over here like, amen. Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
So many of us, some of us who have packed on the weight, a lot of people packed it on around their abdomen, and many people are struggling with lower back pain now. What are some things that people can do exercise-wise to help alleviate some of that pain outside of losing the gut or in conjunction with losing the gut?
Well, very good question, because we need our backs.
Mm-hmm.
We need our core, our abs, our stomachs, the obliques, which are around the sides,
Mm-hmm.
the love handles. We give them nice little nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things help to support our back and to help us to keep our back straight.
Mm-hmm.
You might see people slouch,
Mm-hmm.
you know, shoulders hunched over.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that bad posture allows for the fat to deposit right around our midsection, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
A bad posture, okay? Now it can be managed. It can be reversed. However, just being honest, it doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you will need to do some exercises. Lots of exercises will be on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just concentrate on the lower back and stretch out a little bit. My suggestion would be to take a deep breath and reach up as high as you can towards the sky, and then bend at the waist towards your toes. Okay, that's going to stretch your back. It's going to stretch your lower back. Breathe through it. Do it a couple times until you feel a little loosening up of your back. Mm-hmm. Now, if you can't do it while you're standing up, then sit down on the floor and it's reaching for your toes. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you can't reach for your toes, those of us who have access to a resistance band, get a resistance band, which will help you to reach around your toes or reach around to the bottom of your feet. And you can pull that resistance band as you pull your body towards your toes. And that would be a good stretch. And you can do this in variation. You can open your legs and stretch to the left and to the right, 1 foot at a time. Again, stretching your lower back. You can roll over onto your stomach. And now keep your hips on the floor, but lift your shoulders and your chest off the floor. And push and push. Keep your hips against the floor, and you'll start to feel your lower back stretch. Okay. For the first timers, you'll hear some moans and groans, and oh my goodness. But your back will stretch. You might hear a few pops. Don't worry, those are to be expected. But keeping our lower back, keeping our back lubricated, warm, is very important. Okay, back problems are some of the number one issues, health-wise. It's degenerative, and once we lose the strength in our back, then it's amazing how downhill did we go. Not being able to stand up straight also means not being able to take advantage of your lung capacity.
Talk about that, Mr. Harp. What's the connection with breath control?
Well, standing up straight allows your lungs to expand and contract, to expand and contract, and able to give your full oxygen intake. So now we can bring in that good air and let go of that bad air, that carbon dioxide. So again, our bodies are machines. And as the blood flows, so does the circulation. Well, so does the oxygen. And we need healthy lungs, right? In order to do that, we need to have our shoulders back. We need to have back straight. All of these things are necessary. Have our head up, chins up. Good posture will keep you walking a lot longer. Will keep us doing things a lot longer. So while we are blessed to be in our 50s and our 60s and our 70s, now we would be able to hopefully do a lot more things physically and maintain posture, maintain body weight, because your metabolism is constantly moving. So the food that goes in, it does what it needs to do, comes out, does what it needs to do, and we move the cycle.
Absolutely. We want to have a good, being in our lives, physically and mentally, and eating well and working out will help us to do that.
Definitely. And lots of hydration.
And lots of hydration. We cannot forget that. Thank you, Mr. Harp, for coming on the Kim B. Davis Show. Now tell us how we can find you everywhere on social media.
My email is ericharp9@gmail.com. I can be found under the tag ESQ360 as well as Eric Harp on all your social platforms. And look for me, reach out to me. We can talk.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Harp, for coming on the Kim B. Davis Show. We know the next month you'll have another exciting topic for us and more current events to break down. I'm sure there'll be more January 6th stuff coming because we'll be going into October.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure, Mr. Davis, and I wish you nothing but success.
Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Kim B. Davis Show. You know, I'm your host, Kim B. Davis. You can find me everywhere on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn as Kimberly Batchelor Davis. Bachelor is spelled BATCHELOR. You can see this show at youtube.com/Kimberly Batchelor Davis. You can hear this show on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, and Wisdom. And you can learn more about me as an author at kimbdavis.com. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope you'll join us for our next episode. And as always, remember, be magnificent.